All right. You know who it is, Father Moo on the microphone. Back again, baby. Thought you seen the last of me? Heck no. We got a big church to pray in here. I ain't giving up my church for nothing. Yeah, I know my stream has been a bit weak recently, and the views are down, but just got some work-related stress is sort of interfering with things, and I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm going to keep on powering through and doing what I do. We'll clip the old signal there for a second. Maybe we'll turn the mic down a tad. Spare everybody's ears. Okay, so I didn't come to waste your time today. I came to make a patch, and I'm going to do that. We're not starting from scratch today. We are going to my minimal dub generator preset, which I like to use so much. And there it is. Oh, well, this one is actually making sound. I think it's not supposed to be. I guess I forgot to clear it out before. Okay, that's okay. We'll get rid of it. So this is the template. The key part of it being 4 64-step note sequencers and 4 16-step note sequencers and 2 times 4 note sequencers. And they're all set up to make a 64-bar pattern. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. Get rid of this is probably the bass line that you're hearing. And this is another part of the bass line. And over here we got some drum synths doing their thing. So, yeah, I had a pretty clear vision of what I wanted to do here. In some ways, today's patch is a little bit of a joke. There's a little bit of comedy behind today's patch. In other words, you don't have to take it too seriously. It's probably the wrong way to do something rather than the right way to do something. So just let's just say that right from the beginning. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to make a dub techno track. That's not the comedy part. Dub techno is an awesome genre, one of my favorites. But then again, I'm a dub guy, so it should be. I'm just looking for my internal MIDI tempo here. There it is. So a good tempo for our dub techno track will be, let's say, 132 BPM. So what's funny about it is not that. What's funny is that dub techno is built on echoes. You generally have a kick and maybe a hat and some other percussion, but then you need to drop a synth into a delayed, reverbed echo chamber and let it bounce around. Well, the one thing that the Nord G1 can't really do is delay. It does have a module here called delay line, but the maximum it can delay any signal is 2.65 milliseconds. That's not very much. For reggae delay, we are looking at something like 800 milliseconds, which is much more than 2.65. So what is this? What's the function of this little module? Mostly the really short delays can be used to do something called car plus strong synthesis, just for making string sounds mostly, or at least that's one of the things it can do. But we're not going to get into that today, and we're not going to use the delay module. In fact, I practically never use this module because I don't really get car plus strong very much. So what I'm going to do is, the joke part here is that I'm going to fake the delay. Rather than actually have a note play and then have that note repeat as echoes, I'm just going to program every one of the echoes into a sequencer and make some adjustments to make it sound like it's a delay when actually it's not. So, so let's that's the comedy. If you didn't laugh at that, then that's all right. But that's the fake part of what we're doing. What I'm trying to say here is nobody who was making real dub techno would ever make it this way. They'd just get a synth and an echo chamber and maybe one drum machine with a kick drum and do that. Or they'd use one of the many, many synths on the market that has a built-in digital delay, like so many of them. And they'd probably want to use a tempo synced digital delay. They don't have to, but they probably would. But what they wouldn't do is what I'm going to do today. It just wouldn't. It doesn't make much logical sense. So, but I'm doing it, I guess, as an experiment, and also to prove that I can, and that when it comes to modular synth programming, even the things you're told you're not able to do, you can find a way to do. Oh, look at all those crazy cables. All these yellow cables, I'm just checking here to make sure I'm using the right outputs. Number 1, number 2, this is channel 1 on the first sequencer, 3 and 4, they're all feeding to here, and their master output is here. So I'm going to send that into the trigger of my kick drum, and then I'm going to program a somewhat boring kick drum line over the 64 steps here, which we will hear soon. There we go. Not sure why I'm losing the first and the second here. I must have done something. Oh, I know what I did. Yeah, I remember. Because of the previous patch, some of those logic modules didn't get patched the way they should, so I need logic processor. And I'm going to take, this is the master output to the kick drum. I'm going to feed him sequencer 1 and 2, and then sequencer 3 and 4, and we should be good to go. And this should be OR. There we go. Good. A little boring, but it is what it is. Let's tune it a bit. Hope you get your headphones on for this one. So I like to grab the master tune and tune it down. I like to turn the noise filter down a bit. That's that nice, dull, persistent kick drum. Okay, so that's our main part of our drum section here. Let's move on to the fake synth sound, which the fake synth delay echo sound, which we're going to make. So first of all, okay, there's 3 oscillators. And I'm going to tune this one. They're on E4. So I'm going to tune this one up 3 notes to G and tune this one down to B. That gives me an E minor chord. I'm going to set all of them to square wave, as you can see they have been set to. I'm going to open up their pulse widths in varying amounts. And over here, I've got 3 different sine waves, which I'm going to send to the pulse width inputs. And I'm going to tune all those down to something similar but not identical. So there's 2.65, and there's 2.97, And there's, let's use this little switch. It'll be easier to get there. 2.81. So that should make a nice swirly effect by modulating the pulse width at varying amounts. And we're only going to need a little mixer to mix them together. So you see, I wanted a chord, so rather than making 3 full voices, I just took 3 oscillators and tuned them to the notes of my chord. I'm going to treat them like a single sort of chord hit and add a nice classic LP filter and add the envelope. And then wire this up, mixer into filter, filter into envelope, and envelope out into channel 2. This will be our synth voice. Oh, I almost forgot one key thing. Just delete that mixer. We're going to need a bigger mixer, 8 inputs. Why is that? Because I want a little noise in there too. So I got my 3 tuned oscillators, and I got my noise generator. This will come back in later. So there you got voice 1 hooked up to the mixer, voice 2, voice 3, and voice noise. I'm going to leave him in the white noise version. I'm going to turn his volume down a bit because I know we don't need maximum noise in the signal. And this will come back later. This is part of my fake delay, by the way. Just, you've been warned. So, yeah. Oh, we're getting a very hot signal here. Let's roll these guys off by 10 points each. You notice there's a little knob on the mixer here, a button called -6 dB. I could punch that and take the whole volume down, but I think it's easier just to dial them down a little bit. There should be enough. Stupid red colored button. There we go, 90. And now it's green again, so it's fine. Well, there's a little bit of yellow there. It's probably fine. So let's start triggering this pattern. So we got this kick drum pattern. You can see here's this is the beginning of the 64 beat pattern. So what I'm going to do here is on channel 2, let's just make sure we got those hooked up. There's that one. There's channel 2, part 2, part 3, and part 4. And that goes into there, and they come out of here. So this is the master output for channel 2 of my event sequencers. I'm going to use him to trigger this. So when I put the pattern in here, the first one will be my quote-unquote real synth hit, and all the other blips will be the echoes that I choose to program. And because it's dubbed techno, I was talking about tempo sync delays. Those repeats are going to be mathematically similar. They're probably going to be one hit and then 2 blanks and a hit and then 2 blanks and a hit and so on like that. So let's just start with the first one here and see if this works for me. It's already too fast, so let's try. That was actually good with half as many. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in between. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a hit. 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 That probably will do it. Let's turn it up a little bit and make sure we can hear what's going on. Okay, you can't hear very much yet. I'm going to open up the filter, which is going to be very important today. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's that timed echo. As I said, it's a fake echo, but that's what it is. That's good. So I think what we need now is a key part of this, which I haven't really figured out yet, to be honest with you. Oh, I was going to cheat and use a sequencer. Well, there's two ways to do it. One of the things we got to do is every time this echoes, the filter knob has to come down. Well, I'll do it in real time in this next time. Just listen. Here we go. So you see what I just did there? Bring it back up. I need it to close gradually every time it echoes because that's how echoes work. If you use a real tape delay or even if you go into the Grand Canyon and shout, every echo that comes back will have some of its high frequencies dialed out of it. So your ear is used to hearing that. So my point is I need to automate that function. I can't grab this knob every time. There's two ways I could do that. One is I could have an LFO, which is shaped like a, let's use the most complex LFO. I'll probably have the right one. So it would be shaped like this, like a downward sawtooth. The key is to get it to reset every time the sequencer does. And as you can see here, we're using the resets for something else. So let's try this. Let's try it this way. So here's what we're going to do. As you can see from the shape, the LFO already starts high and goes low. So it's the same. That's the signal it's going to send to this frequency knob. Start high, go low. So we connect the output to the input here. But currently his speed is too fast. So what I really want to do is get the timing of this right. So my first attempt will be to connect this reset rate to the master reset of our clock. That's not really what I wanted. I didn't expect that to be right, so my next plan is to use a clock divider. So I'm sending that master clock reset into the clock divider and sending the output into this bad boy. I think I'm going to try dividing by 4. Still like way too fast here. Let's try this. Nope. My hard part is getting this LFO to line up with the start of the thing. So like I said, rather than trouble myself with the intricacies of the LFO, I'm going to cheat and use the sequencer instead. So watch what I do here. I'm going to put a high number like 40 on this first hit, and then I get to my next hit, I'm going to put it at, call it 35, that's 37, close enough. And every hit will be a lower number than that. It doesn't really matter what the numbers are, because as long as you adjust the amount on the filter, then it'll still be a declining number every time. There we go. There's another hit. Is that 11? I think it's 11. As you'll quickly find out, just having one of these probably won't be enough. We're going to have 2 or 3 steps with the same number to get it right, but that's okay. We'll get it. Where's the last hit? Okay, we don't need these ones. So let's try sending, since this is output to here, and this is output to here. We don't even need these second, third, and fourth sequences right now. So I'm just going to use this output. See if this works for me. Okay, I can tell from the sound of it that it's high and then jumping to straight low really quickly. So what I need is to have these, I need 2 or 3 steps together to get the desired effect here. Here we go. As you can see, this is kind of tedious work, and having a delay, the settings would be done by now. But but that's how we chose to do it, damn it. So I'm sticking with it. I'm still getting a bit of blowback on the third. That sounds better anyway. Good. Let's turn the amount up a bit. Maybe I need to invert this amount. I think I do. Is that right? And now it's opening up the whole way. Try that again. Still hear a bit of the end of the thing. Okay, just bear with me while I tediously adjust all these sliders. King Tubby never had to do this. King Tubby never had to do this. Yeah. Let me start with this a bit lower down. And again, experimenting with the slope of the filter will help. Oh, and also keyboard tracking. Okay, you don't want to invert the keyboard tracking. Good, so we got it pretty close to that sound. Let's go back and dial in some noise here. Can't even hear it. Okay, it's definitely in there now. Cool. So noise is usually a part of the typical dub techno chord hit. And again, when you're lowering the frequency on the filter, if you have lots of noise in your signal, it gives the filter something to bite into, some of the high frequencies to remove. So it actually likes that part of things. I think I'm going to try just dropping the whole chord down an octave and see if I get a bit more of a dub flavor. So this one down to G. And B. I'm going to go back and just... I guess I need to put every step into the damn sequencer here. For the sake of smoothness. That's cool. Okay, so to add one more little chunk of flavor here, I thought I would take a sine wave and an envelope. I don't need that envelope. Come on. Actually, you know what? You can live over here because you're a different voice. Plug him in here. And I want to use this little trick here. So where are these going? So probably to here. I'll have to take him way the heck down. E1, that's a nice fucking octave. Pardon my French, but it is. And we'll give him some of the... Oh, we're in the wrong channel here. Not quite right. Is something out of key with the steps here? Yep, something's out. Let's just try, this probably won't help, but we'll try it. Close to what I was going for. I don't like the fast ones. I want it to feel more dubby. There we go. That's what I needed. Sweet. Check this. Now that's dubby. Just that massive E at the bottom of the... Maybe try this a bit? So you see we have that, this is sort of like a call and response happening. Something's still off with these damned sequences. They're not running in the same... Oh, here it is. Look, see this? It's on step 64, it's step 63. Let's try resetting it. Maybe that'll solve the problem. That's what I wanted. Boom, boom, boom. Might be a little bit too long in the decay. Good. Okay. So that's what did it. This step, instead of being to 64, it was set to 63 for some reason. But this is it. This is my little dub track. I'm at 83%. I could put in a hi-hat if I wanted, but this is what I was going for. This is the fake echo I wanted to hear. I love the fizziness of it, which the noise is helping to contribute to that. And because my steps in my sequencer are a bit lazy, there's actually a bit of like digital fuzziness to it and errors in the mix, but I'm digging it. So yeah, as I said, kind of don't try this at home. This is not the smart way to make dub techno, but I came here today to make it the wrong way, and because the wrong way is the only way I can do it on this little synth, and also to show that even when you don't have a module, like a delay module, if you're tricky and willing to waste a bit of time, you can come up with something that does practically the same thing, or that has a similar audio effect, even if it's not literally doing the same thing. So we are on a very sad number 14 for this year. Very unimpressed with my output, but I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to call this wrong dub techno, because that's the wrong way to do it. Wrong dub tech. Yeah, close enough. But yeah, thanks for coming along with me for this little experiment in weirdness. And don't always worry too much if you don't always need more gear or better gear to do the things that you're trying to do, especially if you have a modular system or even a computer running a VCV rack. You can build the things you need. Although, of course, in VCV rack there's probably tons of delay modules, which means you may not need this. But find a way to do what the computer says you can't do, or what the spec says the wrong way to do it. Try it anyway, just for the experience. That's what I say. So, thank you for dubbing with me. I am Father Moo, and I'll be back again doing the moo that I do to you. So, thanks again. Peace from Father Moo. Let's listen to that dub.